Well, howdy ho, good neighbor. Today we're flying again over the Wood Street homeless encampment, but this is the side streets. That's right, these are the side streets where they ran them off. So they found a little home over here with this business that has just recently closed down. You can see by the empty lot that this used to be a bustling business, but not anymore. It's an empty building with homeless people lined up on the outside of it. But you can't really blame the homeless people because they were kicked out of their Wood Street encampment. And I've said this before, that they really need to give these people a place to go instead of running them around from block to block. It seems like they get a little community going and all of a sudden they're run out to another part of the city. So as soon as they move them from one spot to another, that just affects different businesses and neighborhoods. So it really is a hard situation to deal with. I always say give them a fairgrounds or a big open lot and just let them survive for themselves. And because when they do have a community of homeless people, believe it or not, they have some kind of governing system where if you don't get along with other people, well, they'll run you out. So just like in your neighborhood, you have a bad apple that if they cause too much trouble, well, your neighbors and yourself will get them out. And that's what they do with these communities. So if you think you could just be a troublemaker in a homeless camp, think again. They will run you out. And so they do take care of their own. And that's really what we need to do, is give them a community so they have a place to stay. But a lot of people do not want to help. They say that these people need to help themselves. And if you can't help themselves, then you can't help them. And that's true. You've heard that saying before. If you can't help yourself, then you can't help yourself, or something like that. George Bush said that. But fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, well, yeah, you know the deal. But anyway, when you have a group of people that are together like this, they usually look out for each other. And when somebody goes and gets groceries, they make sure that somebody doesn't go through their camp and steal their belongings. You have to remember, when you have nothing, every little thing is something. So we always take that for granted, that we have locks on our doors and fresh water. Well, these people need to go get fresh water and use the restrooms. So a lot of times their house is vulnerable to other thieves. And thankfully, the city of Oakland has helped them out a little bit, but not a lot. How much help can you give these people without breaking the bank? Well, the bank is already broken. The city of Oakland is broke. The state of California is broken, and they've just lost millions of dollars. So we've dumped millions of dollars into this problem, and they did an audit in California, and for some weird reason, they cannot find millions of dollars. Where did that money go? That's why it's hard to just give money to the homeless industrial complex, because the money's not going to the right people. It should be going to food programs and plumbing programs, but I don't see a lot of plumbing and I don't see a lot of food. But when do we stop helping? When do we stop? Well, I don't know if we will ever stop with this problem. I just think it's only going to get worse. You know that, and I know that. This is not getting any better, and our leaders have basically handcuffed the citizens. So if you try to clean up this mess, you will be in trouble for violating someone else's rights, even though that they are on your property. So it seems today that the criminals have more rights than the actual law-abiding citizens. So that makes it an upside-down world. And unfortunately, there has been somebody who said one time that when good becomes evil and evil becomes good, well, that is the end times. And I can say for a fact that good has become evil and evil has become good. You just ask the people that try to enforce the laws and they'll tell you that they can't enforce laws anymore because they are the bad guys. That's right, the police department has come up with a thing called FIDO, and FIDO means forget it, drive on. FIDO, forget it and drive on, because if I stop and help, all of a sudden I'm the bad guy, or I'm called, all kinds of names. I'm not going to even mention them on here because they're not appropriate for your ears. So we will leave the bad language that people call police officers alone. Even though there are some bad police officers, there are a lot of good ones. Just like the homeless, even though there's a lot of good ones, there are a lot of bad ones. And that's what happens when we empty our jails and dump our criminals out on the streets. Well, they do not have a place to live and they do not have a place to work. So just imagine if you were released from jail because of any circumstances. Well, you have no place to go, so you have to live on the streets. Your family won't take you. And you've been used to living off the government for your food, but now you got to fend for yourself. So it's a hard life. I feel for anybody getting out of jail and trying to have to figure it out. All right, well, I don't know how much more rambling I can do, but you can see that there's still a lot of room out here for a lot of people, so just keep running them off from one place to the next. Well, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to wave you goodbye here, but as always, I want to thank you again for coming along with me on these What Do We Do with the Homeless adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody.